That's what it's going to be. It's going to be
It
off
better
the
be.
rails. And I can do the big announcement today.
On the rails.
We're live there, Mal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going live. On the rails with Mark, you want it? Off the
Why
rails
not?
with Tom?
Yeah, it's on the rails with Mark.
All right, we are going. So, Molly, get to work.
Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark.
All right, welcome back, universe, to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark's episode 34 of season 2, our first ever 34th episode.
Woo!
Coming to you live from the Mobile Command Center, brought to you by Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty. Hey, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, or maybe you're interested in a career in real estate, email my guy, Roy at cbhsr.com, or give him a call, 414-235-0763. Click the banner. They'll be your go-to for all your real estate needs. And I'm going to tell you, Roy used to hang out and sell houses with Pat Morita. So if he's not good enough for Mr. Miyagi, it's not going to be good enough for you. So you can trust this guy. Even if you're around the country, Roy will hook you up and send you in the right direction. So this week we have professional wrestler, stand-up comic, actor, short film producer, Cory Kastle. Hey, Cory.
Hi, what's up? How's it going?
You're also a podcaster. You do
yes.
Rassel Rock and Evolving with
Cory Kastle. Yes, that's right.
Evolving with Cory Kastle. Why didn't I have that written down? I
Right.
don't know.
Wrestle Rock. Oh man.
It gets tough to have a podcast that has my name in the title, because then it's hard to introduce me without giving away to burying the lead. You're like, oh, this guy hosts a podcast Evolving with Cory Kastle. Everybody give it up for Cory Kastle. It's like, no, you just said the name twice, you jerk.
Well, just wait till he introduces me.
But
Copiloting
the other podcast.
Yeah.
The other podcast we do is Rassel Rock, RASSLE, Wrestle Rock, and we've been going strong for over 5 years now on that show, and it's incredible, man. I love it. I love to have friends. I like to just have fun with my friends and talk about pro wrestling, as evidenced by the fact that me and Ron have been doing that for the last 20 minutes.
Speaking of Ron, we got co-piloting this episode, the king himself, right hand, Ron the Hammer Purtee.
That's right. And I host a show called The Ron Purtee Show.
The Ron
so there's
Purtee
my
Show.
name twice. Yeah, and 33 times. And don't forget to check out my new short film. I'll be right behind you on YouTube.
All right, we got 3 podcast hosts and some eye candy, so enjoy this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This week we're going to talk about the Rock buying XFL, banning Sweet Caroline, morgues, Black Penis birthday cake scandal, Europe losing their mind when it comes to comedy. But first, we're going to do it.
It's the hot seat! Wow, yeah! It's the hot seat! Hot seat! The hot seat with Tom and Mark! Off the rails!
Thank you, Whitesnake.
was that like a Fiverr jingle?
I don't know. Our marketing guy sent it to us, so I'm not sure.
I like it. I like it.
All right.
It's fun.
So, would you consider this a catch? I opened the fridge.
Oh my gosh.
The mail fell out. And I used my foot, because I was hunched over. I had my hand on the freezer door, hand on the fridge door, opening it. I used my foot and I pinned it to the side of the fridge. And then I reached down and I grabbed it and I put it back in the fridge. And I said, holy crap, Molly, that's one hell of a catch. And she says, no catch.
I'll let the guest go first, because I definitely have a thought on this.
Okay.
I would absolutely consider that a catch. There's no denying that that's a catch. I mean, I'm not a sports person and I don't catch anything. Here's the thing. I'm a tremendous actor. I'm a tremendous actor because if I catch something, I can act like I'm not surprised that I actually caught it.
Okay. Well, it was the denial right next to me that said, "That's not a catch." That irritated me.
Oh man, you can't dim the man's shine on that.
No catch.
If it was
No catch.
Yeah, catching is with your hands, not
pinned
your
it with
foot.
my foot, and then I grabbed it.
Okay, but if that happened in the NFL, it would be no catch.
Yes, it would. It never hit the ground. Here's a reenactment.
Let's go to the tape.
Hold on.
Wait, you're just sharing your Facebook
I'm sharing
screen?
the wrong screen.
He's sharing his Pornhub history.
Yeah. So
Here it is.
that's not an accurate reenactment because
How's that
that's not
an
what
accurate
happened.
Reenactment.
Because you filmed it the way that you wanted people to see
I
it.
filmed it exactly how it happened. I opened the fridge. Okay. Here we go. The mayo slipped down. I caught it with my foot, just like that. And then I reached down, never hit the ground, put it back where it belongs.
Okay, I'm going to mute for a second, and I'm going to ask the NFL expert in my house exactly if that's a catch.
Do you want me to bring it up again? Oh, no. Go ahead.
No, because I'll just tell him how it happened. Hold on.
Okay.
So, but if it didn't happen that way,
But it did.
I was there.
So, Cory, you saw the reenactment.
Okay. Doesn't have to necessarily be like a football catch. A football catch and catching something before it falls aren't the same exact thing. So if it was a football, there's technicalities and such. But the fact that you caught it before it hit the ground, like when you take a picture, you caught an image. Like let's redefine what we're programmed to believe a catch actually is.
Yeah, we don't have to do NFL rules, right?
Right. So
nobody blew a whistle.
Sure, you did catch it before it hit the ground, and that's the catch to me.
All I was saying was, go ahead, Ron.
My brother is an NFL expert. That's all he watches is NFL Network. And if you ask him a player's name, he'll tell you their state. He's kind of like weird like that. So I asked him, I said, if he opens the fridge, the mayo falls on his foot, and he pins it, it doesn't hit the ground. It never hit the ground, right?
Never hit the ground.
Okay. It's a catch.
And also in the reenactment, I noticed that was not mayo, that was Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
They call that mayo because they're weird as hell.
Because we're classy. I like
the first time they asked me for mayo, and I brought out actual mayo, and they put it back and brought out Miracle Whip, I was like, what is wrong with you people?
Miracle Whip is more of like a dressing than mayo.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only time I ever use mayonnaise is when I make this special dip I make. It's got mayo, cottage cheese, sour cream, and dry ranch dressing.
You just called it mayo.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
I use mayo. I don't use Miracle Whip or mayo. No. Okay. I don't. I'm weird like that.
All right.
So
Miracle Whip seems like it's more for grandmoms.
I got some Miracle Whip, honey. Would you come over here and I'll put some on your face? It helps with bee stings.
My whole beef with the it's a catch was I said it didn't touch the floor, but it wasn't a catch because when it originally happened. Hey, Mitchell. When it originally happened, he was grabbing something else. The Miracle Whip fell, and he went to like catch it and completely like biffed, and it got caught in the corner of the fridge. Otherwise, it would have fell on the floor, but the corner of the fridge caught it, and then he pinned it with his foot.
It would have not been a catch, but was it? Yes, you just admit it. You called it a catch.
You pinned it with your foot after the corner of the fridge caught it.
Well, the NFL expert that I have living in my house says that the foot, like a lot of times the ball will hit somebody's foot and then bounce back up and they'll catch it. So as long as it doesn't hit the ground. But if you pinned it, I mean, that's where things kind of come into question.
I wasn't barefoot. I didn't know the play was going to happen. It was complete ninja reaction. I did what I could to complete the catch.
Tom Klein,
and then
cracker ass ninja.
into a Facebook event and turned all my friends against me.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, if your friends turned against you in this instance, they have a brittle spirit.
There you go. And everybody wants to jump on me. So, Cory, are dad bods in, or are women just so sick of the gun show joke that this is how they decided to solve it?
I have an opinion about this that maybe you should maybe relax a minute because I'm going to get into it. I think that there is there's a very weird thin line between what a dad bod actually is and what people consider a dad bod. Because I think, like, I almost consider myself to have a dad bod, but like I'm a meathead. I work out every fucking day. Excuse me, every single day.
Oh, you're fine.
People are at church. They're not going to.
Right. It's like,
hey, religion.
So it's like, it's a strange thing because like there are jack dads like that's so it's a weird thing. Dad bods when it comes to being doughy. Honestly, man, I think we are programmed to believe that anything that isn't like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is bad, and it isn't. Like people were body shaming Jason Momoa when he was on vacation because he didn't have the Aquaman abs. Like, do you understand how hard it is to get abs, let alone how hard it is to keep abs when you've got them? Like, it's not his job to have abs for every vacation. Like, just give him a break.
What I found out was interesting is I have a friend that went to the doctor and they did the BMI index, and that's total bullshit or whatever, but they said he was obese. He's like 5'9", 175 or something ridiculous. And then they said there was a secondary question. Wait a minute, are you a volunteer firefighter? And he said no. I guess for some odd reason there's a different BMI for firemen.
Well, I mean, Tom, you've seen me in person. Would you call? Now, be honest. I won't get offended, but it'll just make me want to punch Mark more. Would you consider me obese?
No,
but I'm considered by doctors to be obese.
Yeah,
my thought.
I'm obese.
If I say obese, if I see an obese person, to me their bare legs look like they're wearing baggy pants. That's what obese is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I think obese is. I don't think anybody I know is obese at all.
Okay.
I mean, Viscera was obese.
Sure, I guess.
Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Hey, you leave Rodney alone. He was the nicest guy on the fucking planet.
I know, but his BMI was up there.
Because he liked to eat them turkey butts.
The thing you were most wrong about, and this came up because the Ryan Leaf Peyton Manning thing came up on a sports thing because there's no sports to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling everybody Ryan Leaf was going to be a way better quarterback than Peyton Manning. And I was way wrong.
Well, I can only talk about this in wrestling, I guess.
Yeah.
What in wrestling, I can give you in my life, and then in wrestling, what I was the most wrong about.
Go ahead.
I'd say most wrong about was I said by 2020, either Titus O'Neil or Cesaro would be world heavyweight champion. Oof, I was wrong about both of them.
I wish one of them would have been.
Oh yeah.
Cesaro should be. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I said that probably in 2016, 17, something like that. So I was way wrong. When it comes to like my life and stuff that I did, I was like, I probably threw the R word around too much when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Because I was in special ed, so I would justify it. I go, well, I teach them, I help them, like, so it's okay for me to say this word. And instead of me taking all that time after and justifying it to somebody, why don't I just cut it out and I don't have to worry about that anymore? So like grow and evolve past being able to justify something that's not justifiable.
Okay.
So yeah, probably my overuse of that word.
Okay.
When I was young.
But what about it being in a medical definition?
Oh, there is context, you know, with all of this, and even when it came to when you said the BMIs and if you're a firefighter, it's like there are addendums, and there are people whose opinions should absolutely be obsolete that have like created what the normal is.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan did a bit where he was like, "Oh, if Thomas Jefferson could travel to here and see what we've got," and he's like, "You guys didn't write new shit? Like I wrote that by candlelight with a feather. You guys didn't write new shit." Like, so I feel like that's with a lot of it when it comes to the parameters on what's obese and what's not versus like what's retarded and what's like actual mentally handicapped thing. Like there's a whole spectrum there that we're kind of ignoring with our vague sort of broad meter here.
Okay. Well, then let's lighten up the topic. And what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on a dare?
There's videos of me on the regular basis setting myself on fire when I was younger. I used to do that all the time.
Wow. Were you making a statement?
No, we were just making funny videos. We just wanted to make funny videos. We were just silly goose.
I can see Cory back then. It's like, oh goddamn Vietnam War! I'm gonna.
We used to take the lighter fluid or like the butane fuel, like that you'd get for like Zippos, and like spray it all over the leg of my pants, and then set that on fire and wait till the fire got like up to my like a little bit over my knee, and I pat it all out.
Getting close to the boys.
Yeah, I burn all my leg hairs off a couple times.
I went cow tipping and chickened out because cows were way bigger than I thought they were going to be. So I'm covered to my knees in cow shit, and I just bailed. I'm like, there's no way I'm tipping this thing over. It's the size of a van, and it sees me coming. All right, what else we got here, Cory? Stupidest. Oh, I guess you did do that. That wasn't a dare. I was going to say stupidest thing you ever did on your own free will.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'd say that it was probably free will and dare at the same time.
Okay.
Mine's the same for both, and that's going out to the bunny ranch and thinking it was a good idea.
Ooh, Ron's got a great bunny ranch story. You're gonna have to check out the Ron Purtee show to get that, where he shares it.
Me and Vic are gonna do an hour on it.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Victor's his co-host.
Speaking of which, I didn't get him to watch.
This is different for men and women, but what's the best way to calm you down when you're angry?
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I think that would be for most men. Molly, telling you to relax doesn't help.
No, not at all. It makes it worse.
No, definitely leave me alone when I'm angry. Ron, same for you?
Oh yeah, just do not even like. My brother's come in here just like asked me a simple mundane question once, and I just lost it on him. Just leave me alone.
Okay. What's a mundane chore that you really enjoy doing? For me, it's giving Molly the big O. No, I like power washing. Something about power washing just sets me in zen.
I don't like doing the dishes, but I like having done dishes. I like having nothing. I like having it all done and gone.
So there's no dishes.
But it's not that I enjoy it very much, but it's also like I can put on a podcast and listen to a podcast on the Bluetooth speaker or something and just calm down. But I mean, probably if I'm going to give you like a clean cut, dry answer, pooping.
Pooping?
I've come up with my best ideas taking a shit.
Me too. It's like an epiphany.
Or when I'm in the shower because your brain just shuts off. And all the ideas come in.
Yeah.
He's got to go poop.
You say the word poop, and Cory Kastle proves he does it. Molly, what do you do? What's your mundane chore that you like? Mowing the lawn.
I do like mowing the lawn. It's fun. We got a riding mower though, so that makes it easier.
Okay, that was like some weird Buster Keaton shit. He went out one way and came around in the up. Okay, never mind.
Now he's gonna float up and come.
Yeah.
Up with him.
Now he's gonna have a building fall on top of him, but he's gonna be safe because the window's cut out.
There you go. Perfect size TV.
Mitchell says, "I hope he comes back power washed."
55-inch.
55-inch. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Ron on that.
Yeah.
My TV in my living room is 55.
That's the baby bear size of the TV, hey? All right. We got one more.
It's big enough, but not too big.
Fast food chain that has to go. You can get rid of one. Molly Quiznos has to go. They're not special. They're expensive. Everybody toasts the bun now.
Are they really fast food though? Does that count?
Yeah.
It doesn't have a drive-through.
That don't mean anything.
No. Neither do
Jimmy John's.
You're not a Jimmy John's fan?
I cannot stomach Jimmy John's, and not just because I don't like the food. I also, we can't talk about that.
All right. Cory, you got a fast food shop you want to get rid
Popeyes.
of? Popeyes?
I mean, Popeyes can just not exist, and I wouldn't care.
All right.
I'm indifferent to Popeyes, but I mean, I actively want Jimmy John's gone.
Okay.
Or I mean, would you call Papa John's? No, that's just a pizza joint because they can go too.
Papa John's is a hot circle of garbage. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Little Caesars probably more than Papa John's.
I like Little Caesars.
I don't mind it,
especially when it's $5 for a pizza.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're defining fast food, I'd say that's more
ready.
I just want the iPad that comes with a Papa John's pizza. Apparently, you get a message from Shaq. I'm like, do you get to keep the iPad, or do you have to send it back out of your own pocket?
All right, Ron. What time of year is it? It's podcast time of year. Let's go vote.
Yes.
Hit the link that we got. Wisconsin Podcast, Best Comedy Podcast of the Year. Ron's going up for Best Entertainment. Insane Asylum for Sci-Fi. Go check them out. We're still pushing forward with Destination Dino Liam Comedy Night. We're going to be making safety precautions. It will be November 11th. Destination Dino Liam, great charity. They're pretty much Wisconsin Make-A-Wish Foundation, just to roll it along a little bit. We're going to have drinks, comedians, Coldwell Banker sponsoring it. So is North Shore Academy. The Arch, Digital Edge made our poster. They are really awesome. I mean, next day, we just call them up and they got it. Molly, we got the Twisted Dreams Film Festival. It is now set for early October. It's going to be virtual.
Yeah, and they're going to be actually doing their Q&A with Lloyd Coffin. They're going to do it virtual.
We'll have an interview.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to interview him.
Molly was a short film judge. So
I did. And there's some really, really great short films. So now everyone's got the opportunity to tune in. Hush you, Ron.
Hush you, Ron.
Just saying, I'll be right behind you on YouTube, featuring Tyler Shea Cohen from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
There we go. We got an interview roadshow coming out with Christopher House called Are You Triggered Yet? Molly and I will be on the roads shortly doing that. We'll be in the studio again soon. That's opening up. We have it all decorated. Check out the Experiment podcast with me and Joe Madness. We go nuts every Wednesday night. And speaking of Wednesday nights, what else are we doing, Molly? We're going to be doing giveaways. So our first giveaway is going to be a Packer flag. We're just going to do like a half-hour live. And in honor of Cory Kastle, we have something that he might want to tune in to get. Can you guys see what that is?
Bring it down a little.
Bring it down a little. Here we go.
Money Inc., baby.
Money Inc. There we go. We'll be giving those out.
I was just watching sold out WCW sold out 1997, where it was like an NWO pay-per-view, and
where they came in on the garbage trucks.
I don't really know, but there was like ladies on motorcycles, but they were just old like haggard moms.
I got a funny story about that pay-per-view.
And then the interviewer guy kept going like asking them questions, and then go, "Huh? I can't hear ya, hon. I can't hear ya, huh? What?" And it was the weirdest thing, but it made me think of it because you had that Funko Pop that had IRS on it, who was on this show, and he had like a mullet, but he was called Wall Street.
VK Wall Street, yes.
It was just not the best.
No, yeah. What's funny about that though is the interviewer is Jeff Katz, and he's the guy who got Freddy versus Jason made. He was an executive for New Line after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how weird things get.
That's cyclical, man. That's weird.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Comes around, goes around. All right. Big announcement, Molly. Off the Rails is going to be partnering with Big Laugh Comedy Network. Starting with season 3, it's coming. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick. So just when you think you can't get away from this show, we're coming into your house now in another way. You don't even get a choice. We're coming. So
clean up afterwards.
Yep. We are going to feature.
Get a sock or a baby wipe or something.
All right. We got a new segment that I'm going to try out here.
Uh-oh.
A new segment?
A little news segment.
A nude segment?
Here we go. Let's try this out. So it could be whatever you want, but we're going to try out Deep Thoughts with Molly.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days.
You actually went on Canva and made that and didn't tell me about it. I don't have anything to say. This isn't going to go well for you. Deep Thoughts with Molly. I mean, look, you still have the little Canva background, like, watermark on there. That's so sad.
All right, thank you very much. That was Deep Thoughts with Molly.
Hey!
You know you can't put me on the spot. You know it's not going to go well.
That was the joke, Molly. We know we can't put you on the spot.
That changed my life. It changed my life. I'm gonna change the way I look at the world now.
To hell with Jack Handy.
Shout out to El Paso, Texas. All right. So, news. It was in the news early this week, but it's still in the news. Look at you just power chug. That is some meathead thing, just drinking water out of a.
Well, and plus when he does it, he flexes while he does it too, to be like, "Yep, I'm the strongest one on this podcast right now."
That was not absolutely not what I do.
You want to talk about BMI? Check out this dad bod over here. All right. So speaking of wrestlers here, The Rock buys the XFL for $15 million only. I say.
Yeah, that's a steal.
He's bailing out Vince.
That's
gotta be. Well, I mean, do you, Corey? Do you know how much Vince paid for WCW when it comes to trademarks and the video library?
$2 million or something.
It was all in. It was like 4.7.
It was
everything.
Yeah, it was just like, well, it was just gonna not exist anyway. So, he just stepped in and paid the minimal, and that's kind of what
this is exactly what's going on. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, there was a steep decline. Everybody was really hyped up about it. By about week 4 or 5, it went way down the tubes.
Like the original XFL.
Yeah. Well, however, it still was the most talked about thing on all the sports stations because it comes on right after the Super Bowl. With March Madness being canceled, there was nothing else going. So do you think that was loaded numbers because March Madness was canceled?
Maybe. I also think that maybe people wanted to see it crash and burn.
They wanted to see it crash and burn.
Yeah, because I mean it was so bad the first time.
They were partnered up with the NFL, so implementing rules in the XFL first that might translate the next year to the NFL.
See, and that's the whole antithesis of the XFL. It was supposed to be a different option from the NFL. And if you're working with the NFL, come on, dude. That's just, Ebersol and McMahon are idiots at this point.
It's like, hey, we're gonna give you an alternative, but we'll be working with them. And it's like, then you've made a deal with Fox, and you're running NFL ads on SmackDown while you're trying to promote XFL. It all just seems like we're throwing new balls into the juggle. It just it's always throwing new balls into the juggle, and someone's gonna go, here, juggle this chainsaw now, and you're gonna be like, oh, I dropped everything.
And let's not even mention how pissed Fox is with the WWE right now, because SmackDown's numbers have been abysmal.
But they started on the downslide after the first week.
Yeah. And the minute Kofi lost in like 8 seconds.
Right.
The feel good story. Nope, not anymore.
Nope. It's not something that can be blamed on the pandemic or anything. It's SmackDown should be on USA. That's just the way it is. It's a USA show.
Well, when you have a company where what people consider to be the developmental area is better than the main roster, then there's something going wrong. I mean, maybe it's time for Vince to just say bye-bye and hand the reins over to Paul.
He won't.
I know he won't.
So how does The Rock fix the XFL?
He doesn't.
He invested $200 million into this and sold it for 15.
I think that The Rock could just as easily just give it to somebody else and have them try to run it.
Exactly.
And see how they do. And if it fails, it fails. Whatever. $15 million to somebody who's got more money than anything is just like, it's like me buying, a iced tea from the store.
Okay. So no big deal for The Rock. He just why'd he buy it? It's still $15 million.
I mean, if it makes him money, if it winds up making him money, it was like Rod said, it was just to bail out his buddy. Like
Does Vince get that $15 million bailout?
The Rock wouldn't be anything.
It's The Rock.
He wouldn't be anything right now if Vince McMahon didn't see a star in him and make him. Like, he wouldn't be called Dwayne The Rock Johnson if Vince McMahon didn't let him do that.
And plus, not only that, but you got to remember he's one of the few people who who started in got their big start in WWE. They were he was in USWA, I think, for a little bit, but then that was like their developmental at the time. So he's one of the few people who really kind of stayed there for their Flex Cabana. He was one of the few people who stayed there the whole time. I mean, Shawn Michaels did, Undertaker once he got there, The Rock, Triple H once he got there, because nobody remember. I mean, well, people remember Terrorizing, but I mean, let's be real here. See, look, he's flexing. He's like, look,
I was cracking my back, folks. Calm down.
Just itching my shoulder.
He looks. If you ever watched Doom Patrol, he's like Flex Mentallo. There's a nerd reference for you, gang.
I haven't watched that show, but I just finished season 2 of Umbrella Academy, and I hear that those shows are pretty similar. So
I like Doom Patrol better. I think because Brendan Fraser is amazing as Robot Man. Getting to hear Brendan Fraser, Mr. Soft-spoken, kind of, mild-mannered action hero, tell people to go fuck themselves and punch rats is kind of funny.
They just were talking. I just listened to Rob Lowe on Joe Rogan. They talked about Brendan Fraser yesterday.
Didn't he get sexually assaulted or something?
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, because he was on the Breakfast. I saw him on Shea 45 on Sirius. He was on there talking about Doom Patrol, and he's like the complete opposite of his character. It's really ridiculous.
Well, speaking of sexual assault, and Sweet Caroline. There will be no touching hands, reaching out, touching me, or touching you due to the pandemic. So the whole song is banned in Ireland.
They banned the song.
They banned the song. Well, you know how people get when you play it at a bar.
That's true.
They get all
handsy. Dance with it.
Yep. You can't not do the bomb.
I mean, I don't even have to listen to Sweet Caroline to touch myself, but that's a whole other story. Any Neil Diamond will get me going.
All right, you guys want to hear
Solitary Man.
Yeah, I am a solitary. Well, no, because there's a sock involved usually. So
Oh, Ron.
they walk by themselves now. I've taught them tricks.
We got a scandal, Ron.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Did my sex tape get out again?
Even worse, the McCobb County morgue is in a scandal. Basically, this morgue was very laid back. They were hanging out, let everything slide. But somebody showed up with a black penis birthday cake, and shit hit the fan.
Well, it looks like I have a black penis in my face. I mean, that's...
Hold on. Let me get you some share screen here. Molly, we should have somebody else doing this.
I told you I'd do it.
It was a file for complaint. So basically what they let slide, there's all sorts of complaints, including hanging up pornography. Women complained. They were making fun of women. They were mocking families of the deceased. But the one thing that pushed them over the edge, the one thing that went too far, was somebody showed up with a black penis birthday cake.
So a big black cock is offensive to people.
We'll let the making fun of women, we'll let the making fun of people who had deceased families, but you crossed the line with the birthday cake.
Now, if you had stopped at they hang up pornography, I'd be okay. Now, I know Molly's rubbing her eyes like, oh God, what's he gonna say now? But no, I would be okay with that because you figure these people are dealing with the deadies. You know what I mean? So let them have some woman spread eagle up on the wall. Who cares about that? But making fun of women, making fun of the deceased family and stuff. That would, I mean, black dick cake is nothing.
Yeah. That's
all right then.
I think
Molly really enjoys them.
Yeah.
I don't think the fact that it's black has anything to do with the fact that it's offensive. It's a cake. That's a dick. That's what's offensive. Not the fact that cakes are chocolate. Sometimes cakes are chocolate. The fact that it's a dick is the problem.
My whole thing, hey Laura, my whole thing is was the cake did it taste good? Because if it didn't taste good, that would be what offends
somebody
me.
Off.
That would piss me off.
I might have did the complaint.
Maybe it was me. Who knows?
There is something in here that says there were racist complaints, which doesn't make sense to me. They heard them asking if the family was black. There was a complaint about that. And that doesn't really make sense when you have a dead body. Like, it would only be weird if the family's not black and your body is black. That would be the only time you would ever ask that question. So it just seems like the complaints may have been not as truthful as what you may... Because why would somebody say that? It just doesn't make sense. When
We're going to bring down the morgue.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't know.
Cory's got something.
This is just a weird story.
It's a weird story. That's why
I definitely don't. I'm not huge on like any kind of like sex humor. Like that's just mostly. I think it's like like you're not gonna. I'm not gonna be number one guest at someone's bachelorette party with penis straws. It's just not my thing. But I mean, like I get like understand the sexual jokes and like Ron's already did like 100 masturbation jokes.
I got 100 more, buddy.
Right. I get it. But it's like it should have offended the two people that it offended and they shut up about it. Like just when you make a story and a tweet and a post and people are talking about it, it's like the problem isn't the person who offended you, it's you.
There we go. You are just the segment master, because coming into this next segment here, Ireland has some laws that I don't even know how you enforce them or what you do, but basically if you are a comedian, you can get hate crimes with your joke if somebody is offended in the audience.
Well, that happened in Canada. There was a comedian who got sued for millions because he told a joke that offended someone.
Well, they have extended it to the LGBTQ plus community. So how do you measure offensiveness? How can you end up in court because
one person was offended?
Oh yeah, Patrick, Amy Schumer. We do have an Amy Schumer story about her pregnancy again.
I used to want to bang her so bad.
Yeah.
Then I saw that she ripped off Patrice O'Neal, and I'm like, that's it, boner's gone.
Oh, jeez. So how do you measure offensiveness?
Oh, I mean, you can't. I mean, okay, you can't really say to somebody, you can't say, well, how did? And I hate to bring up Louis because he's a kind of a douche, but he said something to the effect of like, you can't. Go ahead. I forgot what it was now.
So it's funny. Like, there's a comedian, Mike Kaplan. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mike Kaplan. MYQ, Mike Kaplan.
You say Mike Kaplan and things explode.
Yeah, I gotta stop. He's a very funny comedian. He's got a really great podcast, and he's got a new special on Spotify. It's really good. But that's beside the point. What he does, he has a bit where he talks about comedy is the only thing that it has to be funny to be what it is. Like it's like, not only are you putting yourself out there to go like, okay, I think what my thoughts are funny, and I'm going to put them out there, and you're going to hear them and you're going to laugh, or you're going to charge me with a crime. Like it raises the stakes in a weird, like, crooked way.
No, yeah, when I found the quote I was looking for. Okay. The quote from Louis, and it's so weird coming from him, is you don't get, when a person tells you hurt them, you don't get to debate or decide that you didn't. Because I mean, it's all about what that person feels. But, and I've said this before, I don't think that America has gotten soft. I just think that with the influx of social media, everybody has a voice, and not everybody needs a voice.
The guy at the end of the block with the end is near sign now has a voice, when you used to just walk by and not talk to him because he's crazy.
Yeah, he's got 500,000 followers on Twitter now.
Yeah. But I'm just wondering, what is the scale? Can you have to make it measurable in order to enforce it. You have to say 0 to 10. We'll let this comedian offend you to an 8. If he goes to a 9, he's going to end up in a courtroom.
Everyone needs better friends. That's what it boils down to. You need to be able to throw a joke past somebody and them go, hey, maybe you think that's funny, but maybe somebody else might feel this way. Let's tweak it so that we can find the funny. You need to create with people. Like, as a comic myself, I'll talk to my friends who are also comics and be like, this is an idea I have for a bit. Tell me what you think. Tell me if this is hacky, if it offends somebody, I realized that through the fact that, like, nobody was filming my stuff. So, like, it didn't get out there, but I knew I said something once at a show, and someone called me a racist afterwards. And I was like, that wasn't my intention. The same with the Louis C.K. bit. It's like, you're not allowed to tell somebody how you made them feel. So what your intentions weren't to hurt that person individually, but that's what they absolutely did. You can't control how somebody does feel about something. So
what about somebody? How do you differentiate from somebody that just doesn't like the way you look and wants to wreck you, compared to somebody who's truly hurt? How about somebody might be lying that they're not offended, they just don't like you?
Well, I think that when it comes to that, I think a person who wants to just wreck you is going to attack, like, in regards to stand-up, they're going to attack your whole set. They're not, but somebody that you offended by a joke is just going to be hurt by that one thing. They, like Chappelle was talking about how there was a woman in the audience, a transgender woman, who was watching his set and loving it until he got to the transgender stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff that offended her. So there's a difference between somebody who wants to wreck you and somebody who's offended, because somebody who wants to wreck you is just going to go out over and say everything. The way you say, how's everybody doing tonight, when you're up on stage, is going to offend them, because they don't like you.
Well, there's got to be a reason why headliners aren't doing colleges.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a matter of people being scared to grow past what they already believe. I think that like young people, particularly college folks, think that like when they get to college, they believe everything they need to believe as far as what's right and what's wrong, and no room for flexibility or compassion. So it's like hear different opinions, hear different perspectives, because absolutely everybody's going to have something different, and maybe the person next to you laughed their ass off and you didn't really know it was that funny. Maybe that person explains it to you later. Everyone needs better friends, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, it's like when I was watching this interview with Kevin Hart, and he said that him and Chris Rock went to the Comedy Store together, and they watched each other's sets. And this is the way comedians should be, and they're not most of the time, is that they watch each other's set, and they're like, hey, well, you know what? Because especially if you're a comedian who doesn't do the same kind of comedy that somebody else does, you know, you sit there and you watch their stuff, and you're like, hey, well, maybe this might work better, you know, that kind of thing. You know, people have to have each other's backs, but instead everybody's fighting for each other's spot.
There is a lot of spot fighting, but what if you do an offensive, I mean, people don't have to like you, but if you're reaching 1% of the entire country, you're going to have 40 million followers. And they can get pretty loud. There are a lot of offensive comedians
I don't see my Ed Gein joke as offensive. But I'm sure there are people who would.
Yeah.
But I think that joke is fucking hilarious, so I keep it. I don't care.
So do you really think, though, if you offend somebody, here's the real question is, should you end up in a courtroom or jail?
No, you shouldn't go to jail because you offended someone. This is getting into like PC Principal from South Park territory. You know.
So how do you get people to do that? You pay with your feet, right? You just don't go. You don't tune in.
Basically, yeah.
So people realize that, hey, I wasn't going to this anyway, or I'm not going back. But he's still out there, or she is still out there doing offensive material. They want to stop that.
Well, and then that's why, and that's one of the. Molly, I swear I'm not getting political when I say this, but that's one of the best things about this country is free speech. Is you can say what you want, but then you get. You have to worry about the repercussions. So you have to think about that, but you're able to say it. Like, you know, the people in who are protesting Black Lives Matter. You know, they have the right to say what they want to say, whether or not you think it's right. You know, so, and I think that I think that a comedy club should be one of the few safe spaces left in the country.
Yeah. What about especially open mics too, where you're working it out?
Yeah, exactly. Open mics are horrible. It's because you get nothing but comics in the crowd, and you don't get any reaction whatsoever. So you don't know if a joke hits until you do it in front of an actual crowd. Well, so you're kind of like,
Cory, here's a thing about you. You were talking about not knowing that the R word was so offensive. Now, what's offensive has been changing on the daily. Say you're doing something in an open mic and somebody's got a phone on you. Now your comedy career takes off. 5 years down the road, it's now offensive, and they show it, and it wrecks your career. But back then it wasn't, and you were working out a joke that you may have changed later that never made it to the stage. How do you feel about people doing that to you when you're there to work something out and realize, hey, maybe I should tweak it?
There is amount of like satisfaction out of like building someone up and then being the thing that knocks them down. I think all people, not just comedians, I think everyone should always be willing to forgive. I mean, understand that I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. Everyone's done some stuff they didn't like, and always be willing to evolve and change. And of course, that's why my show is called Evolving with Cory Kastle.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't judge somebody on something they did 10 years ago because everybody grows as a person. Everybody changes as a person. You don't share the same views that you did 10 years ago, you know.
But you still should be able to host the Oscars, right?
Who cares about the Oscars?
Right. It's corny to get that upset about the Oscars, really. It really is.
Well, no, I was bringing up Kevin Hart making
I know.
some jokes that
But
were
that's
fine
another-
a decade ago.
That actually leads me into something else. Is I also don't think that comedians should be forced to apologize for their jokes.
Oh, do the apology tour?
Yeah, no, don't do the apology. If it's a joke, okay. As long as it's funny, it should be okay. You know what I mean? Because but if it comes from a place of malice, that's a whole different story.
Like hate speech versus satire are there's like there's a whole bunch of space in between those things, and like we got to use our discretion here. We can't just go, well, that's disguising itself as comedy when it's really hate speech. That's that can happen, but it really depends on somebody's wisdom to decide, to make a decision if they believe that it's jokes or it's hate.
So do you believe that there are two types of teasing, affectionate teasing and visceral, nasty teasing? Like when you hang out with your friends or something, like if I were to say, Cory, do you even work out, bro? I'm teasing you. It's obviously you do, but.
Yeah, dude. My trainers that taught me how to wrestle, they would say, if I'm not making fun of you, it's probably because I don't like you.
Yeah.
So there is a level of ribbing, but it can get mean. And of course, it's like you got the person who's saying those things has to go, well, like, let me monitor how I'm making someone feel. Like there's a level of you get there with somebody. You can't just open up like, hey, stupid shoes, you little queer.
Yeah.
Like you gotta like ease your way into that.
Well, plus it's like if Vic says something to me, and somebody else might think, oh my God, what I can't believe what he's saying to him. I've known the guy for 21 years. You get to know somebody. Whereas, and I'm just going to say it because we're off the rails. If Mark was to say something to me in the vein that Vic said something to me, it would just make me want to punch him in the face even more because I don't know you like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I tell the story?
Hell yeah.
My trainer taught me how to wrestle, and he would pick on me. And then he was training someone new, and he thought because he saw Eddie picking on me all the time that he could also pick on me. And I had to speak to him. I'm like, listen, Eddie and I go really far back, and like if you don't know me like he does and you hear him talk about, like, you have to understand we don't understand each other that well because I don't really know you that well. So if I was someone else, I might just punch you right in your face.
Yeah.
And then we were cool. We were cool from that point on. I'm like, all right, well, we've got to keep the communication open for, like, let someone know, like, when they're at risk of crossing a line.
Okay.
When they're at risk for an ass whooping.
So now here's one more thing. We're getting way more on this topic than we probably should. We'll get to wrestling shortly, but now Vic is an African American, and Ron and him have been like best friends forever. Now, if you're watching their show and you just tune in and see the way they talk to each other, you might get offended watching that for either Vic or Ron.
I get away with a lot more. I get away with a lot more racial humor because it's on him, and he knows where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He knows that.
But now you show it.
But yeah, now everybody who isn't at the bar with us getting hammered at 9:00 at night. Because we would, I mean, there are times when I'm talking to him and I think it was one of the tests. I don't know if you were there, Tom, but I was like, dude, could you please smile so we can see you? And he's like, his response is, oh, fuck you, and that's just where we are because, and the things he says to me, and even my brother gets to say stuff to him like that because, he's known him for most of his life, and it's weird to say you get a pass. Because you don't get a pass. It's just you're comfortable with people. You know what I mean?
Is it weird to think about that you could make it and 5 years from now somebody could come back and wreck what you built based on that if that becomes offensive in the future?
Well, that's the thing is, Vic would have my back and be like, no, he's not doing this in an offensive way. You know what I mean? So I as long as I don't piss Vic off for real, I'm golden.
Excellent. All right, Cory Kastle, pro wrestler. Let's get into some wrestling talk with you. So, well, tell us where you're wrestling right now. What you doing? What's going on?
Honestly, I didn't have anything, like I've been saying for the last 2 years that I've had like 1 foot in and 1 foot out of in-ring performing. And, for the beginning of 2020, I was making my living as an actor. So I was just doing lots of TV shows and movies. So, like if you go onto my IMDb, you'll see some of that stuff. And I just did Bruce, the short film Bruce. And it's just a 15-minute short film, and it's one of the proudest things I've ever done. It's the coolest things I've ever done.
I got a couple questions about Bruce when we get into it.
Sure, you're absolutely.
Here's the link for it.
Yeah, Molly's going to post the link to Bruce. I just got a weird question. Was that supposed to be Bruce Wayne or Bruce Wayne's kid? I was a little confused in that.
Okay.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't heard that one, but
okay.
If you haven't watched it, pause this program and watch it. It's 15 minutes because I'm gonna say some spoilers right now.
We're also live, so you can't pause it. So just watch it afterward.
So just watch it. You might get some spoilers. I mean, it's at this point only like 2,000 people have watched it.
Okay.
But everyone who's watched it has enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, okay, the origin stories of Bruce Wayne, and we don't like anyone to go into it knowing that it is a Batman Bruce Wayne origin alternate, because you figure that out on your own time. It's more fun to figure that part out on your own time. But the classic origin story is Bruce Wayne was walking with his parents. Someone shot them. And then he's raised by Alfred, and Alfred makes him like a pretty decent person, and he becomes a crime fighter.
Pearls everywhere.
What's that?
Pearls everywhere in the alley.
Right. So we wanted to make it so that the dad, Thomas Wayne, set it up so that Alfred would come and kill the mom and take his money, make it look like an accident. But he killed her first, and then the kid, Bruce Wayne, young Bruce Wayne, notices that it's Alfred who did it. Who Alfred in the classic Batman stories raises Bruce to become who he is. Now he realized that Alfred was the one who screwed his life up, so he doesn't have any moral compass that he's had in any other Batman stories. So that what keeps him those demons that he's fighting with, the voice inside of his head, the drug problems. He's just a severely traumatized youngster.
I was all on board with it being Bruce Wayne, but the only thing that threw me off is when he was going through the mask scene and he was going to kill his father or something, and he said, "My dad hates masks or bats," and I'm like, wait a minute, that's what kind of made me go, wait a minute, is he like Bruce Wayne's kid going to kill Bruce? Like, that's where it kind of confused me a little bit.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
Like, because Thomas Wayne didn't hate bats that I know of.
Well, and plus Bruce Wayne's son's Damian Wayne.
Okay. Well, it's a whole different universe.
Nerd.
Also, let's go. In the thing, it says alternative universe. Like
alternative universe.
It's not the exact thing. It's an alternative story to Bruce Wayne. So we've got some Easter eggs in there, and we've got some stuff that might not line up exactly with what you're used to from your Bruce Wayne, but this is our Bruce Wayne.
So that's the only thing that made me question it, was that like 4 seconds of dialogue right there that made me go, wait a minute. So are you using wrestling are you going to be moving further away of it to get your other foot out the door and more into acting?
Well, I mean, I'm like I said, I've been 1 foot out and 1 foot in for 2 years. I thought this pandemic was going to either have me come back better or not come back at all. I've said a million times. I said either I'm hanging my boots or I'm buying new boots from the start of the pandemic. I had 2 more dates on the calendar and nothing else planned.
Okay.
And they got canceled, obviously. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm done. And then one of my, I don't want to give him, I don't want to say he was bigger of an influence in my life than he was, but he was one of the guys that was an indie legend around here. Everybody knew this guy. He passed away just a week or 2 ago, and we want to organize some sort of benefit for him. We're going to do it like a live stream benefit for him, and I agreed to do that. So I do have one match coming up. So I'm just going to continue to get better at wrestling and use wrestling as the tool. Because the thing is, I think I'm pretty good at acting. I think I'm pretty good at comedy. I know I'm good at wrestling. That's like, how many people have committed their entire adult life to something? Like, I got in the ring for the first time when I was 14 years old. I am going to turn 37. Like, I've committed my entire life to this. And I know that I'm good at this. And it's not arrogance. It's not conceit. It's like, I've got an expert eye and I've got an expert mind because I've experienced it. Experience is the best teacher. And I've got it in spades. But it's taught me how to navigate through acting. I mean, I've been doing acting since I did like background work in Invincible in 2006. So it's been a while, and I've been doing some stand-up comedy like off and on. Started my first open mic in like 2008. So it's like I've always had all these things in mind that I wanted to do. And I didn't know that podcasting was a thing, but that's a thing that for sure everything is serving everything else. So the pro wrestling is serving the comedy. The podcast is being served by the acting, and then which each other thing serves itself. So if you've made the effort to hear me on one show or see me on another show, then you'll maybe pop the name into a search and then listen to other podcasts that I've been on or podcasts that I've hosted.
How long have you been doing the podcast?
I started Rassel Rock in 2012. I think we started doing podcast Rassel Rock in 2012, and I started doing Evolving in 2017.
Is Evolving more of a just your story of evolving, or do you bring other people in?
It's guests. I have guests come on, and it's really about learning life lessons. The kind of stories, and it's a lot. It's just a hang sesh. There's really no sponsors or no like segments that we have to hit. It's like we don't want to I just want to learn about you, and we'll try to become friends. Like that's part of the whole thing. Me saying everybody needs better friends. So it's like having these kind of long conversations that most people don't get through because everybody's just waiting for their second to talk. And I think a lot of people are so used to becoming reactors to whatever's happening. Well, this happened, so I had to do this. This happened, so I had to do that. And not enough people are focused on becoming real deliberate creators in their existence. So with this show, I want to talk about the stuff that has inspired people to make them be who they are, or life lessons that they learned, or what their family was like, what carved them into becoming who they are now, and what inspires them to try to be better versions of themselves tomorrow than they are today.
So when which one are you going to stick to if they start throwing a ton of money at you?
I'm not going to ditch either one of them.
No, you're not. You're going to. I don't. WWE signs you. They say drop those podcasts.
I'm going to do Evolving until I'm dead. Like I'm gonna continue, because if I stop evolving, then I stop living.
Okay. Where can we find the Evolving?
Evolving with Cory Kastle is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and Spreaker and iHeartRadio or wherever you find and enjoy quality podcasts.
All right. Excellent. Well, Cory, I'd love to have you stick around for the next bonus episode. Hopefully we don't get too crazy on that.
I'm here, dude. I'm here.
All right. Ron.
Yes.
Let's talk about what you got going on. You just put out something awesome. We'll say it again.
Yes, it's called I'll Be Right Behind You. It's on YouTube. It features the amazing acting talents of Tyler Shea Cohn from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. And it's getting a little bit of buzz, just a little bit, not too much. You know, just the right amount.
Get written up again.
Oh, probably. It's just fantastic. I mean, his performance is just I can't talk enough about it. And I also have the Ron Purtee Show, which is live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you don't know what your time zone is, figure it out. I'm not your dad. This Thursday we have Matt Gork from Gork Boys Barbecue going to be on, and he's going to help us answer the age-old question: do you put an egg on a burger? We also might have a show on Monday, but I have to confirm it in a few hours. And if I do, I'll hit the social medias, Facebook.com/The Ron Purtee Show and @Real Ron Purtee on Twitter and Instagram. I will be posting that. If we do it, it will be tomorrow night. So you'll have to miss the last hour of Raw, like everyone else is missing the last hour of Raw.
Just DVR it. Just watch it on your DVR.
Does it really matter at this point?
Yeah, I've missed the last hour of Raw for a long time, and
you missed the first 2 hours too.
I missed the first 2 hours as well. I got out of it. Well, Cory, thank you very much. Molly, are we ending the stream or keeping it rolling for a little break here?
I think we end it. We'll come back.
All right, everybody.
Bye.
What's up? Thanks, Molly. You're good on the spot. We'll do another Deep Thoughts with Molly coming up. And thank you, everybody. Remember, we're not good enough.
Thanks for tuning in, Universe.